What is there to know in Spanish? Well, there are two verbs to express to know, and the two of them are saber y conocer. So saber and conocer are the two different verbs, and there are different circumstances which we would use them in. And the general rule, for example, in saber is to know information, directions, what happened, to know how to do something. So a skill. The general rule for conocer is people, places, and things. So if you can keep that in mind, people, places, and things, then you can make the distinction between conocer and saber, when it's to know facts, to know information, directions, knowledge, versus knowing people, places, and things. So let's take a look at how we conjugate the two verbs. In the first case, we have saber. Yo sé, I know. Tú sabes, you know. Él, ella, usted sabe. He, she, you in the formal sense, usted, know. Nosotros sabemos, we know. Ellos, ellas, ustedes saben, they, so either female or male. So males would be ellos, females plural would be ellas. And I put ustedes, and the closest thing we can come to in English is you all. So y'all, all those people over there. But formally, no. So yo sé, tú sabes, él, ella, usted sabe, nosotros sabemos, ellos, ellas, ustedes saben. The conjugation for conocer goes like this. Yo conozco, I know. Tú conoces, you know. Él, ella, usted conoce, he, she, and again you formal, usted, know. Nosotros conocemos, we know. Ellos, ellas, ustedes conocen. So again, they, so male and female, as well as all of you, y'all know. So let's take a look at the general rule for saber again. It's to know facts, to know information, directions, what happened, to know how to do something or a skill. So let's take a look at the first example. Ejemplos de saber. Yo sé hablar español, inglés y francés. So I know, you've acquired that knowledge, so you know how to do something, and in this case, it's to speak Spanish, English, and French. So first person singular, saber, yo sé. Ejemplos de saber. ¿Sabes cuánto cuesta? So do you know how much it costs? Sabes. Tú sabes. So when we use it in the second person singular, we don't need to always say the pronoun. So in this case, because it's sabes, es, at the end of the verb, we know it's tú. So if somebody comes up to you and says, ¿Sabes cuánto cuesta? Do you know how much it costs? Then you'll know, of course, in the context that they're talking to you. Informally, because it's in tú. Another ejemplo de saber. Él sabe qué pasó. Does he know what happened? Does he know what the facts were of the situation? So, él sabe qué pasó. Does he know what happened? Sabemos cocinar. So here's an example of, again, a skill set. So we know how to cook. So sabemos cocinar. No saben limpiar. They have no idea how to clean. So again, cleaning is a skill. So no saben cocinar. ¿Sabes llegar? So again, directions, knowledge, facts. sabes llegar. So it's again in tú. So somebody's asking you informally, do you know how to get there from point A to point B? Sabes llegar. ¿Sabes tocar un instrumento? Do you know how to play an instrument? A skill set falls under saber. ¿Quién sabe la respuesta? Who knows the answer? Right? So again, it's fact, it's knowledge. And in this case, we have a teacher asking, ¿Quién sabe la respuesta? So who knows the answer? And one student says, Yo sé. I know. So again, the distinction here is to know people, places, and things falls under conocer. And let's take a look at some examples. People, places, and things. Yo conozco tu abuela. So I know your grandmother. Yo conozco tu abuela. That's if you know them personally, right? You know them personally or you've met them. Now, here's another little example to just add a little bit of the confusion here. Now, when you know a fact, for example, here we have Yo sé quién es el Papa. So you know the fact for a fact who that person is, pero no lo conozco. I don't know them personally, right? So I know who the Pope is, but I don't know him personally. So here, for example, yo conozco tu abuela. I know your grandmother personally. We've met. But here, I know who the Pope is. Yo sé quién es el Papa. It's a fact, pero no lo conozco. So you don't know them personally. Conocen muchos países. So if you're traveling with somebody, for example, and you meet a person, they may ask you and your travel buddy if you've traveled to many countries. Have you y'all gotten to know many countries? Okay, so conocen muchos países. Have you discovered or have you visited many countries? Conocen muchos países. Could also say, ¿Conoces las playas de México? Do you know the beaches in Mexico? So have you discovered them? Have you seen them? ¿Conoces las playas de México? Here's another interesting one. Ella conoce un buen restaurante. So she knows of a good restaurant, a place. Conocen estas frutas. Do you recognize or do you know or can you identify these fruits? Or do you know them? Have you tried them? Conocen estas frutas. Again, under the context of recognize, people, places, and things. So this is a thing. It's a game, right? Conocemos este juego. We know this game. Now, again, to throw something interesting at this. Conocemos este juego, so we know this game. Y sabemos jugar, and we know how to play it. So you recognize the game, you know it, it's a thing, but what's more so is that you have the knowledge and skill set to play it. So now we use the verb saber. Conocemos este juego y sabemos jugar. Thank you very much, and I hope that helps clarify a little bit the different uses of when you would use conocer and saber. I know it can be very tricky, but it's just a question of practice and being able to use it in context or think and identify it. Is it something that is a skill set or a knowledge of fact, or is it people, places, and things which would fall under conocer?